Good morning, everyone. This is Darla Williams with the Art of Learning Self-Love, and I'm down here in Phoenix, Arizona, doing my class on live from whatever point, wherever I'm at. So while we're here today, what we just discussed before I hit the record button is that we're going to talk today about the dailies. Saturday mornings are now going to be geared for everyone that is part of the Art of Learning Self-Love. This is the place where everyone can come together and start getting different perspectives from each individual because everyone thinks differently. We're all unique and individual, but we're all using the same exact program to try and begin changing the way that we see life or course. We're reprogramming ourselves from one way to another way. So, because of that, we're choosing to do it ourselves instead of allowing the rest of the world to do it for us. While we're in that, what I'm trying to do is help to make sure that everyone gets as much out of it as possible. So what I'm doing is opening it up for Saturday mornings that this is a deeper discussion about the dailies that you do in the course, which each day is given with an affirmation, sometimes with scripture if requested, as well as an assignment that helps you to begin identifying yourself and working through things. So I got everybody looking things up right this minute to look through what's going on with them, asking any individual questions so that everyone can talk about it and talk about what they recognized on those dailies as well as or that they can hear about them before they get there so that maybe that'll help them to begin expanding their awareness and understanding. So this is really to help everyone to develop into a deeper way. So group therapy is really important because that now it's not just, oh, Darla, wrote a course that everyone's taking and is working good, but it's now that space where everyone can begin hearing each individual story as they're going along and be able to see where some people's stories are going to relate to another person, where maybe I don't always have all the details or maybe you don't always have them, but when we all come together collectively, we can actually have more and begin expanding. So that leaves me to say today, I know that Crystal's on day 75 and Jan, who's in class today, is on day 67. Both today are not using scriptures, so we won't be covering the scriptures today, but anyone, when they come in, if they don't do, we'll also discuss that. So we're just talking about the dailies themselves. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up mine now so that we can begin talking about them. And I'm going to read them so everybody else that comes into the call or listens to a recording can know exactly where we're at and what we're talking about. And like I said, we've got one on day 67, and 67 covers the affirmation of the day is I love my personal growth and development. And the assignment of the day is write out 5 different statements about why love starts with you. Love begins with me. Fill in the blank. So that was the assignment for Jan today. And Crystal's check out is on 75. And 75 reads, affirmation of the day, I am a masterpiece. And the assignment of the day, to wonder, is to reverence for, to be curious, or to worship. Write 10 sentences using the word I wonder. I'm in wonder of, for example, I wonder how, I wonder when are the examples. So I know that it's early and most of you guys just received this sometime this morning when you woke up. You may not have actually worked on this assignment today. So, and I'm okay with that. We can just sort of briefly talk about it. But I do want you to flip through if you have any individual questions about any of the dailies between day 1 and where you're at in the program. That's what today's about. Crystal. Writing my little note over here to myself so I keep on track. So I'm going to start with has anyone identified any daily that you want to ask questions about?
Don't really have one specifically aimed towards the dailies. Sorry, now she's climbing up my back. There she is.
That cat. That
There's, oh no, we're not getting up there. Thank you. Um, but um, not specifically regarding the dailies, but something that I've been noticing throughout the dailies, especially with kind of breaking free from that mindset, like a specific mindset of like I'm not worthy. Like I go back and forth
okay.
between like, oh man, like I got it all, to like bumping back to, kind of like where I was. Um
Okay.
and being comfortable with my feelings and being able to express them in a confident and healthy way. I find myself that I still tend to be defensive um in my feelings when I really don't have to be, because those are my feelings. Like I don't have to overly explain myself. Um
So now is that really something you're struggling with, or you're finally identifying that that was something you had issues with and are coming through it?
yeah, right. It's something that like I'm realizing, so I'm recognizing these certain patterns and things like that, where now I'm trying to really shift out of those. So then it's just like forward motion instead of being set back, or being triggered from, anything in my past.
Okay. So you do have quite a bit. So let's start with that first one. You were feeling some stuff going on with that with your confidence, like that worthiness, and it was going
Mm-hmm.
back and forth. So here you are in your transition. Some days you are going to feel stronger because now you're building in specific areas.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're starting to get a ground. So sometimes, yeah, you're going to be in that worthy. I get it. I got it. I'm feeling good. Now, the next part, though, happens is we get in our memories. And when we get in our memories, we forget that we've built in some of our worthiness. Worthiness comes from us understanding who we are, recognizing ourselves, going in through the recognitions. So, what is that worthiness? What are your accomplishments? What are your things that you've done? What are your personal successes? And it doesn't matter whether or not it's a tangible one that you can hold up an award, or whether or not it's within yourself and actually acknowledging. So, in that statement, that sometimes I feel confident and other times I feel less worthy, like I'm not getting in there, that is that place where you are beginning to have some successes. So, those days that
Mm-hmm.
you can stand in it is where you want to keep remembering when you fall out, you just get up and say, oh, I can go back to that. Now, one of the things I want to teach you today, and everybody that comes in to listen to this, what I want to teach you is when you begin developing that and you're not certain how to keep it, we have the ability to change our process. So if I get up today and I got up this morning and the first thing I said when I woke up was, I don't want to go to work. I don't want to do this day. Well, all day long, we're going to have circumstances and situations that show us we didn't want this day because what we're thinking about, we're bringing about. So if we're actually getting up every morning going, I don't like this, then what are we doing? We're setting ourselves up to experience time again and again things that are going to set us into that place of feeling the exact same way when we woke up. But if instead, here's your steps. The night before the next morning, when we're laying down in bed, the last thing you want to do is lay there and think about what you want to accomplish the next day. Begin speaking to yourself. Oh, tomorrow is a great day. I can't wait. It's exciting. Tomorrow I get to. But you have to set in what it is you get to do. We create our own world. Heaven and hell is really a perspective. It's a perception. We can live in hell every single day, or we can live in heaven. If I choose it, if I set myself up for success the night before, laying down for the evening, going, tomorrow I'm going to go, I'm going to start my art of learning self-love in the morning after my cup of coffee. I'm going to make sure my gratitudes get written. Then I'm going to go and have an extraordinary lunch with a friend I haven't seen in a long time. And then so I'm like eager to get up the next morning. So the minute my eyes open up, I'm already going, ooh, I got to get in the shower. I got to go do this. I get to do this. I get to. The problem is we get stuck in our words and our verbiage. And our verbiage usually says, oh, I got to, or I have to, or I don't want to. And those words literally change the dynamics of how we're feeling. I want you to say 3 times, I get to, and put something in there that you want to do. And the reason I'm going to have you guys do this, and just pick one thing you really want to do today that you're excited about, that that's in your day today. And I want you to say it 3 times. I get to, and fill in the blank. So I'm going to start. I get to go see my best friend, Denise. I get to go see my best friend, Denise. I get to go see my best friend, Denise. Now, this is a best friend from my high school years. I've known her for forever. 20, 30 years I've known this person, and I haven't seen her in a really long time. And I'm in the state that she's in, and I get to go and see her. I'm excited about that. Now, I could have got up and been like, I'm not at home. I'm in somebody else's house. I'm sleeping on an air mattress. And I could be miserable. I could be. It's not comfortable always. But when you've got so many dynamics, because I'm here for a wedding, so I'm dealing with lots of people, lots of personalities. So this is my current circumstance and situation. Now I have a choice. Each day I can be like, you know what, so-and-so upset me yesterday. And I could be stuck in that feeling all day for the remainder of the time I'm here. And I can set myself up for a mood to be stuck and not get out of it and be like, make everybody miserable with me. Because misery seems to love company. But what I chose to do instead is go, well, what am I doing tomorrow? So the night before, I start setting myself up for the excitement. So the next part is I want you to now hear it from this. And you heard me say, I get to go see my friend Denise, and you could hear the joy. Now, I'm going to take a different perspective here, and I'm going to show you the difference in just hearing what is being said. You know what? I'm tired. I'm exhausted. People are disrespectful. People have said things that are mean, and I feel uncomfortable. So I could be sitting going, that person said this, and I feel like this. I was promised this, but this is what happened. And I could be stuck sitting in that vibration because the first 3 days that I was here, that's what I was dealing with. But I chose, instead of climbing into that, looking for my silver lining. Now I have that ability within myself to choose that. But it took a long time to practice. And I'm not saying you're going to get it every time, because man, this trip, I've even failed, and I teach it. So that's the one thing I want people to know. We can all come into that place no matter how much you practice. There are going to be hangups, and there are going to be miscommunications, and there are going to be trigger points no matter how many times you heal. No matter how many layers of it you go through, there are still little components to everything, no matter who we are, that make us go, ooh. So if I had said, you know what, so and so said they were going to do this, but they didn't do that, and this is what I dealt with. Do you see the attitude? Do you see the frustration? So and so did this. Da, 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 da. I don't have to fill in the blanks. Just the thought of it literally changed my feeling within. So, this is why I want you to do something. I want you to literally say how you normally wake up in the morning and what you think when you wake up. I want you to share that. It may be good, it may be bad, it may be indifferent, it doesn't matter. But I want you to feel that vibration. And then I want you to say it 3 times. And then I want you to throw in that positive so we can shift you and let you feel the difference in your vibration. So I'm going to start with Crystal. When you wake up in the morning, what's the first thing you say to yourself?
So usually I go through the things that I'm grateful for. Like I'm thank you know, I do like the gratitude. Thank you for life, thank you for breath. Um, so in the morning, that is my typical routine. Not every day. Some days I am like, oh, I overslept, let me go, you know. But most mornings I do start off being grateful.
Okay, so let's look at that one day where those moments happen and we do screw it up. And we want to look at that vibration because that vibration sets a day. When you wake up
Hmm.
late and you're like, oh, you didn't get your gratitudes in, you're rushing through everything. So, how does
Hmm.
the rest of that day seem to happen for you? Does it seem like everything just sort of compiles?
Yeah, so when I feel rushed, it throws me off completely. It just feels like everything, like things are going right, but still at the same time, everything's going wrong. It feels like I get a lot more curveballs thrown at me. So my reaction's a lot different to the days where I'm like calm and um so yeah, it's the complete like night and day difference from when I do like my normal routine to when I wake up and I feel rushed and I gotta go and get out the door and I'm fighting with Justin and be like, let's go, and just feel like everything's just late. I'm just late.
Okay, so here you are, you're feeling that late. You feel it now. You've spoken
Hmm.
enough of it. See, here's the power of our word. Just thinking about it, you weren't late today. You didn't have any of that experience today,
Hmm.
but you now feel exactly what you just said. Now I want you
Hmm.
to completely erase that for just a moment. Take a moment and just go, that is not today. And now I want you to say, what are you grateful for? What are you excited for today? Think about today and the one moment today that you know that you're looking forward to doing. And I want you to say that. And I want you to say it 3 times. I get to blah, blah, blah.
Okay. So I get to decorate and organize. I get to decorate and organize. I get to decorate and organize.
Now, how do you feel?
I feel good. I'm super excited. Like
Like
I
that
might
just
be
totally,
might be early, but I'm excited to like get the Christmas tree up and everything and start. I'm very excited for that. I'm very excited to declutter and get rid of some things that are to me, eyesores and just remove them from my space. I no longer need them. So I'm very excited and grateful for that.
so
I
now
get to,
going, yeah, right. That's exactly it. But now think about what you had said before about getting up late and being in
Mhm,
rush versus how you feel about what you're getting ready to go do.
mhm,
How is that on the balance for you? Did you feel how you went down and then when you spoke the
mhm.
other, how you went up?
Yeah, because it changes. Like I'm excited to do the decorating and the organizing and when I'm running late or whatever, that's, I'm putting that weight on me. Like instead of, taking a deep breath, letting it roll and say, okay, well, I just got to do it a different way. And that's okay.
Perfect. Now, Gian, I want to do the same thing with you. I want you to think about, something what you have said in the mornings or what you do in a day, on those days that you get in that stinking thinking versus the moments when you're in that place of, let's talk about the other in a minute. But I want you to literally climb into a moment how do you wake up in the morning? Do you wake up eager to start your day? Or do you wake up, oh, I gotta start?
Me, in the last 2 weeks, I have felt better coming out of bed as opposed to, oh, I gotta get up. It's been, I get up because I want to go to my best life. And it starts by putting my feet on the ground and moving from there.
So let's talk for a minute about that I got to. That I got to do makes us feel low. It makes us feel tired. It makes us feel exhausted before we even begin, which then discourages us to actually want to complete the things that are at hand. Generally, avoiding all of the different things that we want to get done because we are still lagging because I got to do it. I have to. It's ugh, I don't want to. So when we have inside us that I don't want to, it automatically creates the resistance. Doesn't matter how much of it we need to get done, it's going to take 10 times longer than it needs to just because of our perception and what we're thinking about. So now I want to take the same moment now and I want to switch your gears because I know you're feeling that I got to. I've got to do this. And that's a hard place to be because it's literally creating a resistance. So I want you to now think about how you can be excited. What is exciting? What do you get to do today? What do you get to do that you're excited about doing?
I need I need that. I need that kind of touchstone to 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 get me going because yeah, I just don't have one yet.
Perfect. This
Yeah,
is perfect.
yeah.
You're right where you're supposed to be then, Jan, because right now what that tells me, you're in class and you're learning. You're beginning to see and identify some things. And it's perfectly acceptable to be right where you're at. So don't get on to yourself. Don't be like, oh, I should have known. Nobody knows this stuff. It took me a long time to figure it out. It took me half my life to go, oh, I got to change some things. But here I am, now being able to give this stuff to you guys because I've walked through it myself, because I used to be in that same mode, that same place where you're at, where I didn't have any idea where to begin. So in that, I had to have that first stepping stone. So what I want you to start practicing, and I want you to take a little note for yourself, Jan, so that you can remember to do it, because this is not an easy to remember thing. I want you to stop every night before going to bed and put a notebook by your bed. And I want you to write, hi, Justin. I want you to write in that notebook what you get to do the next day. If it matters, if it's one thing or if it's 10 things, I want you to light yourself up with the idea of the next day before you go to bed. Then when you wake up, the first thing I want you to do is tune back into that I get to, so that you can go rush through all the stuff you don't want to do to get to the thing you want to do. So giving yourself a personal incentive to have a form of a reward to feel better. I get to go. I get to have. There's a huge difference between I've got to do or I get to do. Just one letter changes the definition of that sentence. One letter. Got to and get to. And that's literally the basics. One letter changed everything. And when we look at how minuscule that one thing is, they're both vowels. How can a vowel take that much precedence in a sentence? But it does. It changes the vibration of everything. So what we think about and what we speak about, we bring about. So if I'm thinking a negative dialogue inside my head and trying to speak a positive one, I'm going to fail every single time because there is a component that is obstructing that flow because I'm having dualistic processes. So if I'm thinking one thing and saying another, it's going to fall flat. But if I can align my mind and my words and what's feeling in my heart all together, then all of a sudden everything works in my favor. But it's a practice. None of us are born to, well, we're born with the gift, but none of us are born with the knowledge. We come in and we become like, it's like amnesia. We all forgot. We forgot what we're here to do. And then we got to go walk it out so we can relearn it. So that we can bring that back so that it is collectively known. And we all take on our own experience to bring us through it. So I want to talk about next in regards to Crystal, your daily is the I wonder. How often do you spend time in wonder, wondering about, wondering how, allowing yourself a space of creativity?
So this is something that I've been diving deep into lately. So I really like the I wonder aspect because I can start to envision where, like, I wonder where I will be in 5 years, you know. Um
Mom, how old are you?
I'm 35.
So then you'll be 40. Like,
Yeah, well, thanks for reminding me. But I did get that this morning. I haven't had a chance to really dive deep into that. But when I read it and I felt into it, I've thought about all the things that I can create for myself, especially for the things that are coming up, and what I'm doing to make that change and that shift.
Right.
So I can't wait to like look back on to see how far I've come.
Perfect. Now, this is the part that I want to express more onto for you so that you can really climb into that because you're really on the edge of it and really seeing the value of being able to sit in that wonder because you're sitting in a space of creativity. You're now beginning to create the future that you really want. And I really want you to really be detailed. Like make it so detailed that it sounds completely impossible. With so many pieces that you're like, there is no way that this could happen, but make it happen, you know, and just go with the fact that you know that it's going to happen. No matter how much it seems impossible, that it is possible. All things are possible. All things, not some things, all things. Says that with God, or as most of us out here, you know, depending on where you are in your walk with life and your walk with your spirituality, everyone has a different perspective, and I'm going to honor all of them. no matter where you're at, if it's source, if it's God, if it's the universe, if it's angel guides, if it's your ancestors, if it's whatever it is that you believe 100% in following after, because you know that there's something higher than you, then you sit in that space and hold that and know that because you have that source, that what you think about and dream about, you can actually create. So I'm going to go over now to talk a little bit with Jan, because Jan is on the daily in regards to write out 5 different statements about why love starts with you. Love begins with me, and I want you to fill in the blank. So I just want you to do one, because it's not the whole assignment in class today. We're just going to do one. And I just want you to begin setting yourself up so that you can find yourself 5 different statements about why love starts with you. Love begins with me.
Love begins with me. Love begins with me because of my being meaningful, because of my mattering. And it just downright feels better.
Exactly. So there's your one for today, and you can write that into your assignment and then build 4 more when you get the chance today to do. Are you flopping cheese at me? That's pretty cheesy, man. That was good, huh? He's flapping his cheese. I love that though. Love begins with me because my being is meaningful and my mattering. You know, you matter. And there is meaning in the fact that you matter. There's a deeper meaning to the fact that you are here. As an individual matter, we all are a matter. We are that. When we come down to the physiology, down to the core of it, we are matter. If we are that matter, what does the word itself, to matter, mean? If we are the very existence of matter. So I want to go ahead and pull that up real quick as an actual definition, because I mean, everybody has their own interpretation of things. But when we go down to the actual dictionary definition of matter, what is matter? It says matter. Oop, that was the wrong one. I forgot a T. Like, yep, I was gonna say mother, and I was like, wait a minute, no, that's not it. You can try again, Darla. What is matter? There we go. Matter. The definition: physical substance in general, as distinct from mind or spirit and spirit. In physics, that which occupies space and possesses rest mass, especially as distinct from energy. So when we look down to the matter of fact, it's the energy. Each and every single one of us is energy, and we matter. Why do you think in the midst of arguments, we say, my opinion matters? I matter. You need to hear me because I matter. Why are we fighting that so hard? Because that's the very core of who we are. We can't be separate from that. So, what does that matter? That matter is spirit that dwells within each and every single one of us, that is already deposited into this flesh tent. So, our mattering is so important. I love that you brought that in. Love begins with me because of my being is meaningful and my mattering. I love that because literally you just brought it down to the very simplest form, but it's so complex at the same time. Jan, I bet in a lot of times in your life you've been really confused, been really misunderstood because of the fact that you understand things by the definition of what it is, and you're very specific to the word, where most people are just going through motions and they're not meaning what they're saying or saying what they're meaning. They're just they're not impeccable with themselves. So when you come down to that impeccable meaning and that matter, when you come down to that specifics, what we do is actually very simple when we get to it. But we get it confused with so many different dialogues, misunderstandings, people's interpretations get in the way of the specifics. So I bet a lot of times you've been misunderstood because you do live in a simplest form possible. But you sound so so complex. When it comes down to the laws of anything, when it comes to the laws of the universe and how it works, when it really gets broken down to the detail, it's actually a very simple detail. But we mix it all up and mess it all up by trying to make it complicated because we think it should be hard. Well, it didn't just come naturally, it should be hard. I think that we have been trained more times than not that because our parents and our grandparents didn't understand the principles, that got passed down into us, and we're sitting in it going, well, this is what they did, so this is what I've got to do, and this is the way it is. But that's not the truth. I can take the same problem, write it on a piece of paper, and drop it in the middle of the table. And I can have 25 different people come and look at that same question and tell them that there is no wrong answer. There is no right answer. But I want everyone to come in and I want them to put down their definition to what is the answer to that question. I'm going to get 25 different perspectives, 25 different resolutions to one problem. But if I sit with that one problem and all I have is my mom's understanding and my dad's understanding, and my grandma's understanding, my great grandma's understanding, I'm going to look at that question. I might still be sitting with that damn question going, I don't know what to do with it because they didn't know what to do with it. But when I stop and I go, okay, I can tune in to the world around me and I can stop with all of this and tune into my heart. And I sit that piece of paper down and I can sit there for a day and look at it and come back to it the next day. It might be for 10 minutes. It might be for 17 seconds. It doesn't matter how long I'm looking at it. But if I come back to it every single day, just looking at it, and I'm not even looking outside of myself, not asking anybody else, but I keep tuning in and I sit with it, all of a sudden, my brain is going to start turning and churning and creating. And I'm going to look at that same question that may have taken 40 days. It could have taken 180 days. It could have transmitted and sat out there 365 days. It doesn't matter how long. What matters is whether or not you tune back into it. And when you tune back into it, eventually, you're going to line up with it. And when you line up with it, you're going to go, aha. And that aha moment changes everything. Because now you have a revelation knowledge that came up and welled up out of the very most deepest wellspring that lives within each and every single one of us. But how often are we trained to look within? That is one of the biggest components. And that's what I had been let down in so many different ways from other people in my life, that I didn't feel confident with looking outside of me anymore. I thought, everything I keep doing, everyone I keep asking, they have brought me to complete ruins. And I couldn't trust a single soul because I had been broken so deeply. And I wanted to point at my picture and it's not there. And I had to remember it's not behind me. I was like, that would have been really dumb. Don't do it, Darla. It's out of habit. You do stuff, you say certain things, you do it. And I was like, no, there's nothing there. But in other videos, if anybody's listening to this one, this first one you're hearing, I want you to know that there's pictures behind me in other videos, and there's a broken heart on one side and a restored heart on the other with a rose. So that's what I went to point at. But when we're looking at the brokenness of what happened, I couldn't trust another soul because everyone had let me down in my circle. Wasn't that the world let me down. It wasn't that everything let me down. It was just those individuals that were in my close-knit circle that I was comfortable going to. So when we go to those people and they let us down time and time again, we lose trust. We lose security in the question. So instead, I employ you to look upon yourself and look within. It doesn't matter if it takes forever or if it only takes a moment. What matters is that you keep tuning in. And eventually, those answers that you're really seeking are going to truly show up in your life. It's going to rearrange everything. So, my next question, well, actually, what time are we at? We're at the end of the hour. Does anybody have any questions to wrap up? Because that was a lot of information today.
I just appreciate coming through and being here because there's just that much more the extra special of sifted sort that results moving in a positive happenstance of me, a better me, sharing and co-mirroring in a better you. And is she still here? A better Crystal, and getting to have a huddle over this kind of momentum. I feel like the world, when looking greatest and deepest at themselves as people, are where they're the most starved, and they still don't get that it doesn't matter that they're hungry, but they'll do it in insteads of, and the insteads are shopping or running around with not so great of people or relationship. And
Right.
yeah, so
I love that. Thank you.
it's not that we're perfect, but
Nope.
there's a focus and a lens that's really necessary to look through amidst ourselves that all of the rest of the world No,
Exactly.
it just, they could do that, and a lot of waking up to it still. We're in the Piscean age, and not the Piscean. We are literally in the age of water. It's Aquarian
Aquarius.
time.
No, we just came out of the Aquarian time. We did come out of the
Oh,
Aquarian. We did.
so
That was at
it's
the beginning of the year. We did leave the
okay.
Aquarian. That was at the beginning of the year. I can find out from Jane Fairchild, Woman in
Yeah,
the Moon Astrology. If you want that, go to the email and go to Yahoo, Woman in the Moon Astrology, .com, or I think it is .com, and you will find Jane Fairchild. And I will tell you, this is an extraordinary astrologist who will truly assist you in understanding who you are made up to be, from where your position is, for what stars you were born into, and how your life cycle works. That woman has it. So I'm going to check in with her, Jan, and ask her what we just entered into this year,
yeah.
so that so that I'll get that back to you as soon as possible.
Okay,
All right.
good.
Crystal, did you have anything else, or are you good?
I'm good. I think that was beautiful. I enjoyed listening to that, and really understanding that I need to break free from the judgments around me of like what I create, in my mind. So that really I see that I'm fully capable of creating what I desire, and the beauty of just me being me.
Now I want you
So
guys to remember, what did we learn today when I pulled it up in the dictionary?
that yeah, everything is energy.
Matter.
Everything is
We
energy.
matter.
Yes. Yep, we matter, and yep, everything is energy. So
Everything is matter. Everything.
mhm, yep,
Doesn't matter whether or not it's our opinion, if it's our feelings, if it's a
yep,
tangible table that my computer is sitting on, it's all matter. And it
yep.
all vibrates at its own frequency.
Mm-hmm.
And we can change the frequency with one letter in a sentence. I
Yeah.
get, or I got. Do I want to spend the time in the I got? I got to, I get, I want to spend the time in the I get. I get what? I get to do, I get to be, I get to enjoy, instead of, God, I got to go do that. So, I mean, just taking, and I want you guys to practice that throughout the day today. Every time you're speaking, when you're getting to go do something, I want you to say that. And I want you to remember what it feels like when you got to do it versus when you get to do it. So, even those hard tasks that we come up against, remind yourself to say, I get to learn, I get to expand, I get to be, because I matter. Thank you all for coming out to the Art of Learning Self-Love today and being here. I appreciate each and every one of you. And I'm looking forward to seeing you in your highest good each and every day. Blessings, love, and light.
Likewise.
Bye for now.
Thank you. Bye.